Mr. Whitaker.
Yes.
Thanks for holding.
Thank you.
I just found out that Mr. CROYLE is here.
Okay.
He was not here yesterday. Let me transfer you to
No, I don't want to transfer to Mr. CROYLE.
I have to transfer you, sir. I'm missing many calls here. And
I want to speak to Mr. Meeks.
Acceptable.
I want to speak to Mr.
Mr.
Mike Mee. That's who I want to speak to.
The only person I can connect you with is Eric.
We'll connect me with Eric CROYLE then.
Mr. Mee is not here.
And I want to know one question also. Mr. Theodore Moore, how does he spell his last name?
Morris, M-O-R-R-I-S.
And you said he was white-collar crime?
Yes, sir.
Who's in charge of the child abuse unit?
There is no child abuse unit.
There's no child?
No, sir. That is not a federal violation.
There's no
That's
department?
That's why we keep trying to tell you we have no federal jurisdiction here.
There's no, what in the...
No, sir. We handle kidnapping.
Okay.
Let me transfer you to Mr. CROYLE. I've got another call, sir. One moment.
Agent CROYLE.
Yes, good morning, Mr. CROYLE.
Mr. Whitaker.
And how are you?
Good. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm a little bit concerned that you haven't responded to our information, and it's just very upsetting the fact that there's now appears to be a rumor weed that's disseminating negative information or negative rumors about my wife and I, and I'm just very unhappy that you haven't communicated back with us with all the information that we've been sending you in regards to the federal funding violations that are going on that we're trying to report.
Well, I don't know what your conversations ended up with Agent Morris the last time you were in here.
Okay, well, I'm not talking about Agent Morris.
The information that you gave to me...
Agent Morris right now.
Let me finish, Mr. Whitaker.
Thank you.
Okay? The information you provided to me, I told you and your wife at the time, last year, that because the Department of Education had an open case on it, it's their jurisdiction. Unless they request our assistance in it, we do not open a separate case. I talked to the agent that was working on the case, and he said if he needed assistance, he would contact us. That was the end of it. We don't open a separate investigation where they already have one going unless they want our assistance. Okay? And even then, once we have an open investigation, I'm sure they're the same way, we don't communicate back to the people that brought us the information and tell them the status of the investigation. We don't give out information about ongoing investigations. We're prohibited from doing that.
Well, that's fine. But somebody could have let us know the status as far as, whether or not you're using the information, whether or not...
I told you specifically that we weren't going to open a separate investigation because the Department of Education, OIG, was working the case.
Well, you mean just now that you told me that?
No, I told you, or it was either you or Mrs. Kent last year.
I don't recall that.
Well,
and so I can't comment on that because I don't recall that. But I do recall the fact that we brought the information to you, and you said that you were going to get back in touch with her sometime in December, and that was the last telephone call we had from you. And so we were wondering why you hadn't responded, because now there's a fellow
I did respond. At this point, I can't recall whether it was I talked to her personally or I left a message on your voicemail. But when she sent the last package of information with no cover letter or anything, I contacted her and left a message, at least, saying that because the Department of Education is working the case, that we weren't going to open a separate investigation. And nothing has changed because, as far as I know, the Department of Education hasn't requested our assistance in the matter. I understand that you may be upset about that, but there's, that's the procedure that's in place. I can't change that. We don't have enough people that we can work an investigation that's already being worked by another federal agency.
Okay. What about the new information that was just sent in then? That wasn't part of the information.
Yeah, I don't know. That information was taken by Agent Morris. I have no control over what happened with that. And
I'm talking about the new information regarding the providers that we sent to you through Agent Morris. I'm not talking about the rape situation.
Well, it wouldn't have come to me through Agent Morris. He would have taken the information you've gotten, and he would have handled it on his own. It wouldn't come to me. I don't have an open case. The reason I got the information to begin with is because I happened to be the duty agent at the time.
And we appreciate you taking the information, but the fact is that this situation now is in the hands of Investigator Higgins the presidential appointee. He is conducting, not personally, but he's having an investigation now being conducted on the auditing the Columbus Public Schools No Child Left Behind funds. So the fact is that is going on, and we did identify individuals. In that last information we sent through Theodore Morris, there are individuals that are identified, at least 5 or 6 of them, that are guilty of fraudulent activity, and that's new. That's not with the anybody else, Department of Justice or anybody else. So why can't that be investigated? Why can't we?
Well, I don't know if it is or not, but like I told you before, when we take information from people, you know, alleging a complaint or a violation of federal law, even if we do open the case, we don't have to tell anybody that we have a case open.
But you do communicate with people. Look, unless I'm stupid. And the TV is, I know TV is drama, but it appears to me that there's supposed to be a working relationship with the people that are trying to do the right thing. And all I'm saying is, from looking at the FBI website, we determined that. And looking back there was even one that said as recently as 23rd of August, talking about the fraud in the school system, stating that they wanted the community to come forward and bring that information forward so they could address fraud in the school community. And what we were doing, bringing this to the forefront, identifying no less than about, specifically identifying no less than babe, how many are on the, how many did you identify? I got Eric Kroll on right now. How many of the providers did you identify?
About 40, 50.
40 or 50 are identified. But you expressly went into how many?
6.
And 6.
$1.5 million.
There are 6 in the information that Theodore Morris has. There are 6 providers that constitute $1.5 million worth of fraudulent funds.
Right. I understand. I know you already provided that information to them, but I don't. I
just want somebody. Look, you're a man. I'm a man. Look, I'm trying.
Tell me what you want from us.
I want to get. First of all, I want to get some communication. I want to be able to say, we got this, and I want somebody to come back and say to my wife that they appreciate the fact that she's done the work. They appreciate the fact that she's trying to do the things that she does, that they will give her time. Now, what I feel, I'm just upset, but I'm not the one. My wife is the one that did all the work, and she is the one that needs to be protected. We have brought forth all of this information, and you know it's real. And when you look at the providers, you have no less than 6 on there that are people in the neighborhood, people that we know, and then there are at least another 30 or 40 that are providers that are church members, and even the mayor's office is involved in this. And so I want to know that the FBI is not retaliating against me for trying to bring the corruption to the surface.
Well, how have we retaliated against you?
Well, I tell you what, whenever I was in the office, my wife and I were in the office with Theodore Morris, his last words and the body language and the attitude that he had when he was telling us it was time to go was indicative of the situations we've encountered where they have called the police on us and put us out. And now I'm saying, what if this was her child? Because in the slavery times, when children and parents and everybody were ripped away from each other, it was the surrogate parent on the slave plantation that took care of the children. And so her feelings of this is totally as a mother. And all we're trying to do as advocates, because we don't accept any money, Eric, we don't accept any money. And I'm a Green Beret medic. Vietnam, 1968 and 69. My son ran down the street and dropped dead at age 12 of a heart attack. And I've contributed all of my efforts to trying to improve the community, trying to do the right thing. And I made some mistakes, but I am here to say I'm trying to do the right thing. And all we want is what can you do? This child, Tyshea Strewart. Now we're on Tyshea Strewart.
Like I said, I don't know any information, anything about the stuff you gave to Agent Morris. All I can tell you is that when you give us information, it gets evaluated as to whether it's a federal violation, first of all. Second of all, whether it's in our venue. And third of all, whether we have the manpower and resources to investigate the matter. Okay?
Okay.
We don't typically call people back to bring us information and say, we have opened an investigation, because it's not the public's.
I can appreciate that.
I appreciate that. But
the fact is, if there's an investigation going on and we're providing more and more evidence, I would think, and you know, I'm looking at the TV shows and things like that, and there's a relationship between the police and the people that they're trying to help. There should be a relationship. These people are victims. Tyshea is a victim. Tyshea never got out of the hospital parking lot when she was trying to go into the hospital. That, to me, is like crossing the Mason-Dixon line.
That's good. I apologize because I don't know any of the facts.
And I know that. But see, the problem is that because you don't know the facts, you are assuming that you don't have an involvement.
No, I am not. I am not assuming that. I'm just telling you the procedure. When you bring a complaint, okay? And it also makes a difference whether you're the actual victim or not. You know, victims have certain rights.
And that's what we know.
When you bring information to us, it gets evaluated in the 3 measures which I told you, okay? And if an investigation gets opened, if any more information is needed from you, you'll be recontacted. If we don't need more information from you, you will not be recontacted, and you won't be told of the status or that there's actually an investigation open. Because that would compromise the investigation if people knew that we were actually investigating you.
Okay.
And
look, I'm not hard-headed. I do want to understand how to get this child some hospital care. And that's really it. Look, what would you do if this was your daughter?
Well, like I said, I don't know any of the facts.
And that's
I don't know anything about that.
We gave all that information to the
Agent Morris.
Agent Morris, but he didn't get all of it. He got a lot of it, but he hasn't got all of it. But the point, he got enough. And all I'm saying is that the FBI, you are the people that, I mean, who can I go to if I can't go to the FBI?
Well, like I said, I don't know the facts of the complaint, but you got to realize the FBI has limited jurisdiction in a lot of matters, okay? There has to be a federal connection.
And the problem then is, and this is what Agent Theodore said, he said that if the police aren't doing their job, then the FBI can get involved. And what we said is the police have been threatening my wife, that the police have not done their job,